Hey there, curious minds. Ever wondered what happens when brilliant ideas go hilariously wrong? Well, you're in for a treat. Think of it as a montage of what were they thinking moments, sprinkled with a healthy dose of oh no they didn't. Because today, my friends, we're diving into the top 5 weird inventions that failed spectacularly. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. First up, we've got the Goodyear Inflatoplane, and no, this isn't a bouncy castle for daredevils. Picture this, it's the 1950s, the Cold War is giving everyone the chills, and someone gets the brilliant idea to make a plane out of rubber. You know, like a pool floaty but with higher stakes. The idea was that this inflatable wonder would be lightweight, easy to transport, and could even be packed into a suitcase. Think about it, no more baggage fees. Just kidding, this thing never even made it off the ground, let alone to baggage claim. Turns out, flying a giant inflatable tube isn't as simple as it sounds. Who knew, right? Apparently physics had other plans. See, those pesky things like aerodynamics and, basic structural integrity kind of frowned upon the whole inflatable plane concept. Imagine trying to fly a kite in a hurricane, that's pretty much what it would have been like, and let's not forget the whole what happens if you get a puncture at 30,000 feet issue. That's not exactly something you can patch up with a piece of gum and a prayer. So, while the Goodyear Inflatoplane might have looked good on paper, or maybe in a cartoon, it definitely didn't fly in the real world. It's a good thing too, because I can only imagine the chaos it would have caused at airport security. Next on our list of epic fails is the Dinosphere, a contraption that can only be described as a hamster wheel on steroids. Seriously, imagine a giant motorized wheel with a single seat smack dab in the middle. It looked like something a supervillain would cook up in their lair, only to realize it handles about as well as a shopping cart with a wobbly wheel. The inventor, J.A. Purvis, envisioned this behemoth as the future of transportation. I mean, who needs cars when you can terrify pedestrians in a giant rolling metal donut? But here's the thing about giant rolling metal donuts. They don't exactly corner on a dime. In fact, they barely corner at all. Steering this thing was like trying to parallel park a Ferris wheel. And good luck seeing over the edge of the wheel to know where you're going. The Dinosphere was noisy, impractical, and about as subtle as a rhinoceros at a tea party. It's no surprise that this invention rolled straight into the dustbin of history. But hey, at least it gets points for creativity, right? I mean, you gotta admire the sheer audacity of building a vehicle that looks like it escaped from a Salvador Dali painting. Ever been watching a commercial for a juicy burger and wished you could actually smell it? No, me neither. But someone, somewhere, thought it was a brilliant idea, and thus, Smellvision was born. This wasn't some late-night infomercial gimmick either, folks. This was the 1960s, and people were actually trying to make this happen. They were going to pump smells into movie theaters so you could experience the aroma of a fresh-baked apple pie or the stench of a sewer. Because who needs immersive sound design when you can have immersive stench design? Now, I'm all for a good sensory experience, but there's a reason why some things are better left to the imagination. Imagine watching a romantic comedy where the couple shares a passionate kiss, only to be blasted in the face with the smell of morning breath. Or how about an action movie where the hero fights his way through a burning building, and suddenly your living room smells like a dumpster fire? Not exactly the kind of home theater experience most people are going for. As you can imagine, Smellvision was about as successful as a screen door on a submarine. It turns out that pumping a cocktail of artificial scents into a theater full of people wasn't exactly a recipe for box office success. Who would have thought? So, the next time you're enjoying a movie with a big bucket of popcorn, be thankful that you're not being subjected to the unique olfactory experience of Smellvision. Alright, buckle up for this one because we're about to enter the realm of what were they thinking. Introducing the Ford Nucleon, a concept car so mind-bogglingly absurd, it makes the flying car look like a stroke of genius. You see, folks, back in the atomic age of the 1950s when people thought the future was powered by all things nuclear, Ford decided to get in on the action. And what better way to do that than by designing a car powered by, wait for it, a nuclear reactor. Yes, you heard that right. A mini Chernobyl on wheels. Now, I'm no scientist, despite the lab coat, but even I can tell you that putting a highly radioactive material in a vehicle designed for mass consumption might not be the best idea. It's like giving a toddler a chainsaw and telling them to go cut the grass. What could possibly go wrong? Apparently, safety regulations were a bit more relaxed back then. Needless to say, the Ford Nucleon never made it past the concept stage. Imagine the marketing campaign. Get ready for the all-new Ford Nucleon. It's got horsepower. Nuclear horsepower. Just try not to stand too close to the tailpipe, or you might develop a third arm. Yeah, I don't think so. Perhaps Ford realized that a car that could potentially level a city block wasn't exactly a recipe for brand loyalty. So the Nucleon was quietly swept under the rug, and the world breathed a collective sigh of relief. Last but not least, we have the Hushophone, a device so gloriously misguided that it deserves its own stand-up comedy routine. Before the days of noise-canceling headphones and smartphones, back when people still used rotary phones and party lines were a thing, someone decided that what the world really needed was a way to make phone calls even more awkward than they already were. Enter the Hushophone. Imagine this. You're trying to have a private conversation, so you attach this cone-shaped plastic contraption to your phone's mouthpiece. Not only did it look like you were talking into a miniature megaphone, but it also muffled your voice to the point where the person on the other end probably thought you were trapped in a well. And let's not forget the sheer ridiculousness of trying to have a discreet conversation with a giant plastic cone plastered to your face. It's like trying to blend into a crowd when you're wearing a neon green unitard. Amazingly, the Hushophone actually gained some popularity, mostly among people who apparently enjoyed looking like they were about to perform a very serious game of telephone charades. But alas, its reign of absurdity was short-lived. The phone company, in all their wisdom, decided that the Hushophone was a threat to their business, because apparently people whispering into plastic cones was cutting into their profits. So they cracked down on the Hushophone, and it faded into obscurity. But hey, at least it gave us a good laugh, right? And there you have it, folks. 5 bizarre inventions that crashed and burned in the most spectacular ways. From inflatable airplanes to nuclear-powered cars, these flops prove that even the most well-intentioned ideas can go hilariously wrong. But hey, that's the beauty of innovation, right? You gotta break a few eggs, or planes, or cars, or phones to make a technological omelet. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and drop a comment below about the weirdest invention you've ever heard of. Who knows, maybe we'll feature it in our next video. Until next time, keep your curiosity high and your expectations, well, let's just say flexible. See you next time.